Good, happy Friday evening, March 6, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Friday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Friday evening, so let's begin. First step, efforts made to help 49 people displaced in Ossipee fire. Investigation begins into cause of fire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
At Bell-Tapes, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Bell-Tapes Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Firefighters arrived at 455 Route 16 in Ossipee Corners around noon on Thursday. They had heavy fire showing on the 3rd floor. Friday morning, as investigators were working to determine the cause, efforts were continuing to help the 49 people displaced in the fire.
We want to get some donations made, or clothing, anything that you can spare, drop-off points.
Cullen says this number of people in need is putting a strain on resources, even with the help they're getting.
We've had a lot of things happen, but normally the Red Cross handles it. It's not too big of a deal, but with 40 people displaced, that's a large number for a town of this size. So it's, quite taxing.
But people in the surrounding area are rallying to help. Members of the White Horse Recovery Center bagging some of the donations. Their community relations director says shortly after the fire, everyone was calling, wondering what they could do to help.
Everybody was putting things together and coming together and just bringing everything on a moment's notice, and that was really awesome.
Officials say they want to make sure that they match the family's needs with the donations, and Meisner says they're ready to help in whatever way they can.
Obviously, they're going to need housing. What minimal we can help with that and trying to help find housing, but we will have some food and clothing and toiletries, and we offer showers.
You can see the drop-off locations for donations on your screen. They include the Center Ossipee Fire Station, the White Horse Addiction Center, both of those are in Center Ossipee, and the Davis Meeting House, that's in Effingham. Reporting live in Ossipee Corners, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Coronavirus COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know. Let's take a look. COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,173 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 0 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 14 number of deaths of COVID-19 in the United States, and 3,460 number of deaths of COVID-19 worldwide. And the common symptoms are how it spreads: fever, cough, and difficult breathing. Former Dover nursing assistant convicted of abusing 92-year-old patient. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Infinity Home. Disarm the system. Doors open.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Secure your home with X1 and customize your security with Xfinity Home, awarded top pick by CNET. Simple, easy, awesome. Former nursing assistant in Dover has lost her appeal on charges of assaulting a 92-year-old patient. Police say 19-year-old Samantha Siegel recorded herself putting her hands over a patient's mouth at St. Anne's Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in 2018 and then posted a video with a caption. She is now convicted of simple assault and abuse and is set to be sentenced in May.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Police. Hidden camera found in employee bathroom at Rochester restaurant. No evidence public restrooms tampered with, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
When you move homes, you move more than just yourself. That's why Xfinity has an easy-to-use online experience to get your TV and internet up and running in a matter of minutes.
Awesome.
Simple, easy, awesome. Click, call, or visit a store today to get started.
Rochester police are investigating after a hidden camera was found in the employee bathroom of a downtown business. Investigators say that a worker at the Revolution Tap Room and Grill spotted wires coming from a hook that fell off a door. Police say there is no evidence that public restrooms were tampered with.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Friday evening. And your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the green and went up. Oil closed in the red and went down. U.S. 10-year closed in the red and went down. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the green and it went up. Dow falls 250 points, ekes out small weekly gain after a wild run. Stocks fell on Friday, capping a roller coaster week on Wall Street as the coronavirus outbreak kept investors on edge. Coronavirus crisis in the U.S. as more cases are reported. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
The latest on the coronavirus emergency. Thousands of passengers on that cruise ship are stuck at sea off the coast of California right now, confined to their rooms as they wait for test results.
We'll be talking to one of those passengers coming up, and right here in New York, thousands of people are self-quarantining at home after they may have come in contact with the coronavirus. A 12th fatality has now been reported here in the United States, the latest in Washington state, and at this hour, the number of cases topping 200.
Congress has now passed an $8 billion emergency coronavirus funding bill to help battle the spread, sending that bill straight to the president's desk.
We have team coverage starting with Whit Johnson here in New York, where cases have doubled. Good morning, Whit.
George, good morning to you. New York's governor is opening an emergency operations center as several thousand people have been told to self-quarantine. Most of those linked to one single patient at this hospital behind me. Across the country, health officials are rapidly trying to ramp up their testing and contain the spread. Coronavirus test kits flown in by helicopter to that idling cruise ship off the coast of San Francisco. This morning, more than 2,400 passengers on the Grand Princess cruise now ordered to stay in their rooms until they can be evacuated. A 71-year-old man who sailed on the Grand Princess last month died of COVID-19, the state's first death linked to the illness. At least 20 people on board reportedly showing symptoms. A nurse from Northern California now under quarantine after treating an infected patient, issuing this anonymous statement through a union representative, criticizing the way the CDC has handled the outbreak.
The national CDC would not initiate the test.
Seattle has seen the virus spread to at least 70 patients. Take a look at the city's iconic Pike Place Market, normally bustling with tourists and shoppers, on Thursday virtually deserted.
It's like a ghost town.
some of the Emerald City's biggest employers ordering workers to stay home. Overnight, Microsoft and LinkedIn confirming one worker from each company testing positive for the virus. Amazon and Facebook already closing their offices until at least Monday amid the outbreak. In nearby Kirkland, the Life Care nursing home has seen at least 8 of its residents die. Families are outraged at the lack of response and communication from the CDC, the facility, and local authorities. Colleen Mallory spoke with our Kaylee Hartung about her mother, Peggy, who shares a room with one of the patients who died from the virus.
Have you asked them to test her?
Yes,
And what do they say?
She's not showing symptoms. She doesn't have a fever. She's not coughing. So,
Even though she had a roommate.
even though she had a roommate that was sick.
And now another major American city seeing the virus spread within its borders. Harris County, Texas, home to Houston, confirming 3 cases overnight. In New York, the number of cases doubling to 22. At least 18 linked to that Westchester County lawyer who is still hospitalized. The other patients have had no known contact with the infected individual. More than 2,700 people in the state are currently self-quarantined. Meanwhile, growing fear and outrage in New Hampshire, where an employee at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center returned from a trip to Italy symptomatic. He had been told to self-isolate but broke the quarantine attending a party. Now both he and another person linked to him have been confirmed as New Hampshire's first 2 cases. Here in New York, the mayor is telling anybody who traveled to any of those 5 hardest hit countries to immediately self-quarantine for 2 weeks. The health commissioner is also ordering a number of city employees to be tested for the virus if they show any sign of symptoms at all.
Hi.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. They'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.